is the North End. This is the North End.
Hey folks, welcome to the North End. Trying to get enthusiastic about this video, the good, the bad and the ugly from Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. A drab 0-0 right at the height of winter as we're about to turn to spring, and that was cold, colder than this Toronto day where I'm filming this. Where do you start with the good? So I've said this a couple of times, it's becoming a bit of a theme for the season, and despite the green shoots of recovery that have been present at certain times in the last few games, besides the Champions League mauling at the hands of Real Madrid, I think the good thing I can say is that we don't have to go back to Selhurst Park again this season. Beyond that, to be honest with you, other than the fact that I think it's becoming really clear how important Darwin is to what the next step of this Jurgen Klopp team is going to be. Other than that, I have to say it's very hard to find something good. There's plenty of bad, plenty of ugly, but Liverpool were okay today. They were definitely the better team. Mo Salah should have scored one. It comes right off the bar. Cody Gakpo should have scored one later on as well. Mo Salah played him in. But in terms of good, nothing really too much to talk about. There was definitely things that were an improvement over worse performances this season. And I'll say one thing. If we were in and around the top four already, a point away at Selhurst Park on a Saturday evening is fine. You know, like, I don't think it's championship form, but we are obviously not a team chasing the championship. But in terms of Champions League positioning, I think this is more costly because we're chasing. So we're going to have to see at the end of the season where the points dropped, where and when and how they're going to cost us. For now, we just have to take our medicine. We've got 2 home games back to back now. One against Wolves on Wednesday, and then the big one next weekend against Man United. Both at home, both under the lights. So we just have to move forward from here. But in terms of good, I'm not really able to give anything definitive other than some general themes of good, because it wasn't a brilliant Liverpool performance at all. In terms of bad, that's a lot easier for me to say. And the bad is that at the moment, we just don't seem to be making chances. Like, I think if you think back of peak Klopp teams, they were always making quite a few chances. In truth, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane and even Bobby Firmino, they're not the most clinical. They never have been. And yet Liverpool, you always knew another chance was coming. We played this game actually many times at our peak, an uninspiring, under the lights performance against a team who's going to battle and scrap. But we didn't have any quality up top in terms of chance making. I think if we had been able to play Mo in a couple more times, and everything he made, he kind of had to make for himself or live off scraps, then Mo Salah himself puts Cody Gakpo in, and yeah, he should do better. But I can actually see some signs of progress from him as well. But in terms of the bad, I have to say, like, the chance creation was negligible. There was so many times where we had the ball about 2/3 of the way up, and there wasn't really anybody a la Thiago, you know, even some of that creativity that you can just bring forward, not from the pass, but just by running through the lines. We very much didn't have that. So in terms of how we move forward, there's got to be a lot more emphasis put on attack, and particularly getting Darwin Núñez into the team. And obviously, I keep saying this a million times, but also things should improve on that side with Luis Diaz as well. It was clear that there wasn't much of like anybody who was also able to take a man on today. So those 2 people coming back will help improve what the bad was today. But really, in terms of chance creation, in terms of being effective with the ball in that final third, terrible. And finally, I want to say as well, the ugly. So, can anybody guess what that is? Just going to give you a couple of seconds to guess. How is Jordan Henderson, James Milner and Naby Keita a midfield in February 2023? How is that possible? Look, if that is the solution, I don't care what the problem is. I don't care what the question is. Change the friggin' question and change the solution. That was ugly, wasn't it? Like in midfield, like my bad is related to this because I was talking about creativity or lack of creativity. And yet we just didn't really have anything in terms of midfield, you know, like it's the over-reliance at the moment on a 17, 18-year-old who obviously got taught a harsh lesson the other day. Fabinho's been coming back a little bit, although again, he didn't look great when he came on, but James Milner, Jordan Henderson and Naby Keita is an ugly midfield. And I think, you know, if I go back to like looping to how the good, the bad and the ugly connect, maybe the good is we have very limited appearances left from Naby Keita. I think it's a pretty well-known thing that he'll be leaving the club soon. And that is, it can't come soon enough now for some Liverpool fans. They've literally had enough. Anyway, very uninspiring game. Very little for me to work with. I tried to work out what was best, but you know what? These 0-0 games, very unmemorable. And from now on, Liverpool have to try to put some wins together again. But at least they weren't beaten today, because 2 months ago or 6 weeks ago, we would have lost this game. And that's it for now for the North End. Please follow, like, subscribe, and share with your friends, comment, all the good stuff. But if nothing else, please subscribe. It really helps us. And I shall be back on Wednesday with Liverpool versus Wolves, and I'm hoping it won't be so hard to find some good. All the best. Have a great weekend. This is the North End.
This is the North End.